Easy. Take her easy. I got you. Take her easy.
All right, creatures of the night. Welcome to episode 201 of Talking Taker. Can't believe I'm saying that. Our encyclopedic exploration, digging up the career of the greatest professional wrestling character of all time, The Undertaker. My name is Alex Dorio. I want to thank you for joining us for yet another round of Dead Man Talking. And I am joined, as always, by my tag team partner, my wrestling buddy, my fellow creature of the night. He is a man who always lives by the motto, be kind, rewind. Mr. Travis White. Travis.
You got me pegged.
I do, man. I know. You would never return a video to the store unrewound.
I couldn't sleep at night if I did that. I'd go back there next morning and be like, I'm sorry, sir, I didn't rewind that.
Let me personally rewind this for you.
Give me this. Just crank it real quick. Yeah.
Well, Travis, I say that because we are doing a bit of a rewind today. Of course, on this podcast, we are taking our time traveling hearse like we always do. We're taking it into the past. We've never taken it into the future quite yet, but
maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Get the flux capacitor on anything.
We're doing a big rewind to the days of the video store, to the days of the VHS, to the days of Coliseum home video, the WWF exclusive Coliseum home videos, for an episode I have been wanting to do for a long, long time now. Part one of our exploration, looking at the Undertaker's greatest Coliseum home video classics matches. I've got a few of the tapes right here from my personal collection right here, and man, this is going to be a fun one because we're going to get to discuss some guys that the Undertaker never faced on pay-per-view and some really unique, rare matches that give us a chance to explore those boundaries of the pay-per-view matches that we've been talking about for so long.
Yeah, and some guys that he had big programs with that never culminated on a pay-per-view that we never got to talk about, but some big names, so it's really cool. Really, really cool. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, buddy. Well, this is, very sentimental and personal to us, the days of the video store. It's very sentimental to me. I'm wearing my old name tag from my first job at Video Warehouse that I've got right here. And
Your name was 410?
My name was 410. What do you say? Did
I say 410?
Oh, it says Alex. It's just really
it's 410. 410V.
That was number 410.
Elon Musk's kids. My baby daughter, 410V.
Well, I spent a couple years as a senior customer service associate at Movie Gallery.
Senior.
Yes, I was. And then you and I, we spent many times Friday night or the weekend going to rent some tapes at the video store. What are just your general video store memories, man? What comes to mind when I talk about the video store to you?
Oh, that one, our favorite that would never hire dudes except for Chris, who's now a referee on the independent circuit. So, no, but seriously, man, there's just something about going, even if it's not a wrestling video, just going, picking up the case, looking at the back of it, reading the synopsis, checking out the rating, being like, I don't know, and just walking with your family and not knowing what's out. There was no internet being like, this is released on this day or this day. You just have to go and figure out what's out, and you rent them for a few nights or whatever, and then it was fun. My whole family would go. My dad would be like, hey, take me and my brothers. And it was a family thing. Of course, he'd rent Aliens and stuff that I wasn't going to watch, but I'm 5 or 6. But it's we rent stuff for me and my brother to watch, or rent video games, or I rent wrestling shows once you got older. It was a blast, man. It was an experience. Now it's just click, download, and is it convenient? Yeah, but it takes, I don't know, the experience away. So.
Absolutely. And, I spend half the time scrolling and never picking anything.
That's the problem nowadays. Yes. That's it.
Yeah.
My wife and I are like, hey, what do we watch? I don't know. And we'll sit there and click through for 45 minutes.
Yes.
But that's annoying when you're supposed to be convenient. But when it was a child and you were going to the video store, that was built in. You had that part built in. Now it's we want to watch something for half an hour before we go to bed. I don't want to scroll for half an hour, So, it's just different.
And like you said, it was a family experience, man. That's one of my earliest memories was driving with my dad to the video store and picking out a movie with him. But it was almost every weekend.
Yes.
Friday night, go to the video store and pick up a couple movies for them, a couple for me. Video to Go was our local store. Of course, we had Blockbuster and Movie Gallery and all those, but there was a local store called Video to Go, and they had an awesome wrestling section.
Yeah.
Massive. And a great kids section.
Great
So
cartoon section.
yes.
Yeah,
So I'd usually get a Flintstones or Ghostbusters cartoon and a wrestling tape.
Yeah. The Transformers with the Dinobots, I would rent it.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 times a year.
Constantly.
And watch that same episode.
Constantly.
Yeah, so good.
Well, they had a great deal there where it was 5 movies for 5 days for $5. So the old movies were 5 for 5 for 5, which is incredible. And that's what we're doing here tonight, man. We got a 5 for 5 special. We got 5 Coliseum videotapes. We got 5 for fighting, and we got a bonus track. Even we got a 6th match because Undertaker's on one of these videos twice. So we're gonna talk about 6 Undertaker matches on 5 videos. We're gonna take you back to those days, to your long weekend. You got $5 in your pocket. You just went and got a Blimpie sub right next door to the video store.
Blimpie's best.
You got that fully loaded with the works, and you just picked up 5 slabs Coliseum home videotapes. I mean, it is going to be a great throwback here. Some awesome matches featuring guys like the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, British Bulldog, the Berserker, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, even Andre the Giant. And we'll talk about how that's going to happen here in a little while. So we'll give you all the details to that. Thankfully, even if you don't have a VCR anymore, you can still experience these matches. They have uploaded all of these on to Peacock. So we'll tell you exactly where to go to find these. We're not doing it watch-along style. We're going to do this more of like a throwback to our older episodes. We're just going to talk about them and review them and laugh about them and pick out all the fun stuff in them, but we certainly encourage you to go watch them. So we'll tell you what they all are here in just a moment. But since this is our monthly journey, looking back at The Undertaker, and there often is so much Undertaker news going on, we want to get to our Undertaker sightings here and talk about where we have where The Undertaker has popped up, even in retirement, in the month of May of 2022. And not a ton. He's been sort of dormant since the Hall of Fame, but there has been a few things going on. And I would say one of the biggest ones is not even involving literally Mark Calloway, but the Undertaker character appeared on an NBC television show called Young Rock, which was pretty surreal to see The Undertaker fictionalized, played by another actor in this comedic television show, man. I don't know, did you get a chance to see any of that?
No, my wife and I watched most of season 1, Young Rock. I think we missed the last 2 or 3, and I didn't even finish it. I think I know how it ends. He's doing all right for himself.
Yeah, he becomes president.
And I literally had no idea season 2 was even on until all this news about Taker being on it, like the last episode or whatever it was on. So I was like, oh, okay, they did that again. So, no, I haven't caught up with it, haven't watched it. So I did enjoy most of season 1, what I did watch, so it was fun.
Yeah, I actually never had watched it besides this episode. I've seen the clips, and it's I don't know. It's not. I don't know if it's for me. But a lot of people like it, and it's obviously doing very well. I think it got renewed for season 3, so that's cool.
But it's gonna be on Friday nights against SmackDown now.
That's
season
weird.
3 is
weird.
Dumb.
But man, it was fun to see that they're depicting Rocky Maivia's first night in the WWF, and of course, it bugs me. There's so many factual inaccuracies and all that sort of stuff. But it's a TV show. It's Hollywood. I get it. I understand why they have to do it.
His first night was Batman Taker, wasn't it?
Well, this is depicting a dark match. So this is not Survivor Series 96. I think they have an episode on that later on. But this is him against the Brooklyn Brawler, a.k.a. Colt Cabana, who did a fantastic job.
It's Colt?
Colt Cabana plays the Brooklyn Brawler.
Oh, that's awesome. I had no idea. That's great.
He's excellent in it.
I'm sure.
And some of the other performances of superstars are iffy. But I will say my number one, the best guy, Colt Cabana was excellent. And the guy who played Doc Hendricks, a.k.a. Michael Hayes, he got the voice down. He had the look down. That guy was great. I want to see more of him.
That's awesome.
The guy who did Stone Cold, the guy who did Triple H, and the guy who did Taker, who just has a little cameo. Luke Hawx played,
Luke Gallows
not Luke Gallows. No,
that'd have been great.
He should have played the Fink.
He does. He does everybody. He should play everybody. Like Eddie Murphy movie. Just Luke Gallows playing all the wrestlers.
I would watch that. I'd watch that
be
series.
There for that. Oh.
Nutty Professor, but 1990s WWF with
so good. He's just everybody because AJ Styles, Toothless Stone Cold, everything. So good.
Who needs Young Rock when you can have that? Oh man,
I'm crying. It's too good.
Well, it is a fun, it's just like 20 minutes. You can find it on Peacock.
Yeah.
I encourage people to check it out if that's your thing. But it was definitely cool to see Taker on there represented, even if the guy looked sort of like the Great Value version of Undertaker. But they did what they could.
Like the Wish.com version.
Exactly. And there was another sighting that you posted on our Facebook page, Travis, of Taker. Was he at Special Olympics or Make-A-Wish?
Yeah.
What was this?
It was Special Olympics thing he was at, and I don't even remember the little kid's name. Ezra was his name. Yeah. He surprised this kid there. He had no idea. He's a huge Taker fan, and he was there at the Special Olympics, and it was just really cool to see. I'm assuming it was WrestleMania weekend there in Dallas. I think it was.
Okay.
But it's probably a 2.5-minute video just of them talking and the whole thing. I'm sure there's plenty of B-roll footage of it. Him talking. They sit down at a table and they're talking to each other, and the kids asking him questions, and Taker's like, "Do you remember stuff? Like, I don't even know these things have happened,
Yeah.
Which a lot of wrestlers say about their careers. We're the crazy ones who remember everything. Ezra. Yeah, it was back in the middle of May, and he. I just wrote, we always said who's better than Canyon, but I say who better than Ezra, because this guy was great, man. He's a really big fan. Young guy, so he's probably, he probably hadn't seen most Taker. He didn't grow up with Taker. He grew up with Taker as a part-timer, so pretty cool, but Taker presented him with like a title and stuff, and it was really neat, so really neat. And it's just, he's so good at that stuff, too. And you can tell it means a lot to Taker, not Ezra, but also Ezra, but it means a lot to Taker to be there.
And it's just, he doesn't have to do that sort of stuff.
No.
He's not like an active performer or anything. He could just be out, out hunting, out enjoying retirement, but he wanted to go do that stuff. And that speaks to the legacy that we talked about. Of course, the reason why we've done over 200 episodes of this podcast, but especially our Thank You Taker episode, where we had generations of people talking about their fandom of Undertaker. And here's a kid who's really probably only experienced Undertaker via Peacock, via the WWE Network and stuff like that. He's barely seen him perform live, and yet this is a character, this is a performer that means so much to him, and that's incredible.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. And then I think Cody Rhodes mentioned him just for like 2 seconds maybe on the Broken Skull sessions. I highly recommend that episode. But Cody just talks about how beginning his career, he got to share the ring with Taker and Edge and Shawn and Hunter, and just how invaluable all that was. Randy, it's just how much of a learning tree he got to sit under. And all those guys, none of them are in-ring performers anymore except for Randy. So,
wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, that happened, and then he's got Jeff Jarrett coming on the Broken Skull sessions, so could be some Taker talk in there. They had some history back in the Territory days, and
was that D-Generation X pay-per-view?
Well, of course they did have a pay-per-view match. Yes, DX pay-per-view with Jeff Jarrett picked up a win over the Undertaker, I believe via disqualification. So we'll be interested to see if that comes up on the Broken Skull sessions. And a couple other notes. I don't know. Have you seen any of this Hall of Fame merchandise that has been coming out for Undertaker via WWE Shop? There's been a ton of it being released.
No, I have not. Only thing I saw was the chair you're sitting in.
Oh, that's right. You did see some of it. That's right. Let's see if I can.
Those of you who haven't seen on the bonus episode online, that is a Hall of Fame chair that gifted to Alex from me. So I called it a baby shower gift. Dad's never get anything, so I just wanted to get him
early
something.
Father's Day present.
Early Father's Day, first Father's Day, yeah. So, yep.
Yes, man. I'm extremely grateful. Was extremely surprised. So if you're
I
watching
texted
this,
you and said, "Do the unboxing sight unseen. So just
I
didn't
did.
want you to, yeah.
I did. I had no clue. Just giant package arrived. So awesome Hall of Fame commemorative chair. And yeah, they've been putting out a bunch of T-shirts, a bunch of. They put out a commemorative urn that's like the Texas state flag on the urn.
Oh, cool. Doesn't Collecting Dead Man has that?
He said he got that one. Yeah. Some other just little tchotchkes and Hall of Fame things. But I did want to show off this, which I got pre-ordered, and in the future it'll be sitting right behind me where you can see. But I got the Hall of Fame plaque. The glare's on there, so it's kind of hard to see. But I did show this on our Instagram Live as well.
I saw it in person yesterday at your house.
Oh, well, I was going to get to that here in a minute. Spoiler.
Oh, sorry.
But this is one of 151 of 380. So they did 380 of these plaques for WrestleMania 38. And they were $66.60 on WWE Shop. I wonder why that was the pricing. But it's got a piece of the carpet from the Hall of Fame speech, a piece of the canvas in the ring from when Taker had his statue displayed at Access, and a piece of the sheet that was covering that statue at Access. So very, very cool item. Very lucky
and that
to
picture
get
in the top
one of
corner.
those. Picture of Taker at the top corner?
Yeah.
What's interesting about that?
There's absolutely zero hair in it. That's Stone Cold Taker. They don't show a glimpse of his hair. And he looks like he's like Steve Austin or The Rock.
You know.
Yeah. It's great.
I love it, man. I love the way
awesome.
it turned out. Very, very cool how they put it all together. Very excited to have that in the collection. And then last thing, we got to have a couple cool meetings, not with The Undertaker, but my daughter, Joan, who is 8 weeks old now, coming up on, about to be 2 months. Not quite 2 months. She's 8 weeks, not quite 2 months. But she got to have a very...
Well, the day this drops, she'll be two months.
That's true. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So today she is 2 months. But yeah, she got to meet a couple of very important people in The Undertaker's history over the past month. One of which is the hardcore legend himself, Mick Foley, who did an in-person signing and appearance at a toy store here in Greenville that I've mentioned on our vlog on the YouTube channel before, the Toy Federation, and got to take a picture with her and got an autograph, which I'm showing here on the YouTube channel, of his Mick Foley Crazy Christmas vinyl, spoken word holiday story, and he autographed that and said to have yourself a merry little Christmas, Joan, and got to take a picture with him. So I just thought that was such a neat thing. I couldn't pass that up. Give the old thumbs up.
She has her thumb up in the picture too.
She's trying. She's doing her best to do a thumbs up with me and Mick Foley. Couldn't have been nicer. Very cool. Like I said, just 15 minutes from my house. And could not pass that up, and thought it'd be so fun to take baby girl and have her meet her first wrestler. But far more important than that, she got to meet her Uncle Travis over this past weekend. Man, you got to stop by, and we didn't get to do a live podcast, but we got to go out to lunch and hang out, and you got to hold her and rock her to sleep, and very, very cool special meeting. And those pictures are, of course, up on our social media as well. So I'm glad you were able to do that finally.
Oh, me too, man. I hated it took this long, but I'm glad I was able to work out. I'm glad I got to meet her. She's cute, and she's a joy to be around, and just special, and we're glad to have her in the Talking Taker family. And yeah, somebody who asked who the guy was next to me holding the baby, that's her dad, Alex.
Weird.
This guy I'm talking to. So, yeah. I mean, you guys look the same.
You think. So yeah, very. I said there wasn't much going on, but kind of a busy month as far as Undertaker sightings and Talking Taker news, relevant things in there to talk about, and hopefully Joan will get to meet more of our Talking Taker heroes and icons and legends along the way. You never know. But yeah, very cool. Very glad that got to happen. Great to see you in person. But for now, we're going to do this podcast like we always do it, over the video chat and get to this.
Videoscope.
Not quite on VCR. We can't do it over VCR, but we are doing it over Skype. But we're going back to those VHS days, to these Coliseum video matches. So let's dive into this, man. We got 6 matches to talk about on 5 classic tapes. These Coliseum videos, I know we got some younger listeners. In case you don't remember and you weren't around during this time, I mean, this was our WWE Network. This was the Peacock back in the day. These were not pay-per-view releases, but these were basically match compilations back in the day that they would release. So to the video store, to home video, they'd release a pay-per-view one month and then a Coliseum video on the months where there weren't pay-per-views to come out. Sometimes it'd be all about one superstar, like a Hulk Hogan or Ultimate Warrior or anything. But most of the time, they were just random compilations, and that was a big deal because when you were watching on TV every week back then, when you were watching Superstars and Challenge and Action Zone and WCW Worldwide and Saturday Night and everything, 90 to 95% of the time you were seeing your Undertaker or your Ultimate Warrior squashing your local talent, your Jethro Tull or Jethro Gibbs or something.
It comes out of the flute.
Some overweight middle-aged guy.
Was John Paul.
Yes. Your Barry Horowitz, your Brooklyn Brawler, your whatnots. And maybe, if you're lucky, you'd get a feature match. You'd get one match with a couple of superstars.
Yeah.
Like a Repo Man versus Tito Santana, El Matador, or something like that.
Yeah,
and that was it, man. Yeah. That was the only excitement you got. But for 2 hours on these Coliseum videos, it's just straight action with named guys, with superstars. And a lot of times it was matches you would never see on pay-per-view. It was matches that never got to pay-per-view. So you'd get really exclusive things and cool matchups. Whereas today, that doesn't exist anymore because you got to fill up Raw and SmackDown and NXT and everything with stars versus stars all the time. So it's hard to have unique, rare matchups. But back then it was very exciting to get to see that.
Oh yeah, it was cool. And I was gonna say too, like I just watching these, it's funny because WWF has always been different than NWA, and it's always been entertainment. It's always been like, it's fun. I was explaining something. This is a side trail for just 2 seconds, but I said something the other day about WWF, and my son was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's what it used to be called." And he's like, "That sounds stupid." WWF. He's like, WWE is what I was like, no, son. WWE sounds dumb. But it's just funny because he's only ever known WWE. And it's just funny because he thinks F sounds dumb. And I think E still sounds dumb 20 years later. But I say that to say that when you watch these, you're not just watching match. You're watching Todd Pettengill and Sean Mooney and all kinds of little scenes and little things they add to it. It's the entertainment part of it. And his Vince has always been good, for better or worse. That's always been a focus of his. People will say stuff now and be like, "Oh, it's so there's some cheese and stuff, and so overproduced." Like, watch these videos, dude. That stuff was evident back then, too. Which again, it was a far cry from the NWA. It was pretty serious wrestling in NWA and WCW at the time. They started getting a little more entertainment, but I said to say this, they're lighthearted. It's for kids. It really is.
Yes, it really is. There's some...
And we'll talk about some of that stuff here.
Oh, we will. All these little comedy vignettes and interstitials and things like that. Some of it holds up. Some of it does not. Yeah, for sure. You're right. And it was a great sampler. Like you said, going back to what you said at the beginning, you're there with your family. And maybe a kid has never seen wrestling on TV before, but they're going through the new releases, they're going through the video store, and they see they see one of these VHS covers, and they see these guys, these larger than life people on the cover, and they pull it up and they're like, "What is this?" Or they see the Bushwhacker on the side of the tape or something.
What's the front of that? Is that Jake?
That is Jake and Roddy Piper.
Right looks like he's 49, 59. Yeah.
But maybe they don't know what that is, and they just beg mom and dad to rent that, and then there's this explosion of action and over the top characters and comedy and stuff on this tape, and you can hook a little fan through that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Well, let's get to it, man. Let's get to this action. We're going to kick off our 5 for 5 VHS special with...
For fighting. I love it. For fighting. Anyway.
WWF.
All right, sorry. I had to get it out. We only got 100 years to live.
Well, now we know what the song at the end of the episode is going to be.
Oh, he's got more.
I had that CD. Yeah, his first CD.
You did?
I'm No Superman.
Yeah.
No, that's a Scrubs song. His was I can't stand to fly.
Yeah.
I'm not that naive.
Yeah. I'm not that naive. Yeah.
It's a good song.
Yeah. All right.
Could be on your next show.
Maybe. If we're lucky.
If we're always so lucky.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Anywho.
World Tour 1991. WWF World Tour 1991. Again, you can find all of these matches on Peacock. So you can go back in the home video classic section to watch these. And I do highly encourage you to at least watch some of them to get the experience here. And this is a match, bro, I made a list. I tallied up all of the Undertaker Coliseum video matches on Peacock, and this one jumped out to me. I remember some of these. I do not remember this one because it is bizarre. It is the team of Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. Okay, fair enough. Against Sergeant Slaughter, General Adnan, and The Undertaker in a 3-on-1 handicap match here from
3-on-2. Yeah.
Excuse me, 3-on-2. Yeah, I don't know what it said. 3-on-2 handicap match. And this is our featured matchup on this World
event.
Tour tape. It has the last match on the tape. Of course, part of the World Tour and the great global hotspot of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hey, where Double or Nothing just was, right? Yeah. International Tour of Las Vegas. I guess Vegas does have like an Eiffel Tower there and stuff, and a pyramid. So
it's true. You can do a whole world tour in Las Vegas, man.
Yeah.
So this is the SummerSlam '91 main event, except instead of Colonel Mustafa, aka the Iron Sheik, we've got the Undertaker taking the Iron Sheik spot, which I would say is a bit of an upgrade. I don't know about you.
Oh, Hogan Jabroni. Yeah. Oh, there he is.
We'll pull up Sergeant Slaughter and Hulk Hogan here, right onto the camera. But man,
thank you.
What's your favorite General Adnan match, Travis?
Yep, this one. As soon as it ended.
What a matchup, dude.
I don't even know who that guy is. I mean, I know who he is, but I don't even know. I know. But it's like, I just don't know how that guy made it.
I don't know why he's in this match. This is, of course, the Iraqi sympathizer era of Sergeant Slaughter, and this is, I believe, from what I could tell in my research, this takes place in March of '91, and it must take place right after WrestleMania. These matches were usually sort of the dark matches at a TV taping or a house show, so sort of a big main event to send the fans home happy. They would keep the cameras rolling. But Hulk Hogan does come out as the champ, so I'm assuming this is kind of right around that, right after WrestleMania 7.
Oh, yeah, because he would have won it.
Yes, from Slaughter at Mania 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was one in the timeline. I didn't investigate, so... Yeah, well, we got good old Sean Mooney and Lord Alfred Hayes on commentary.
And we're going to hear quite a bit from them throughout this episode.
That is my least favorite thing in this whole episode, because I told you earlier, I was like, I don't know if this is a popular opinion or not, but I can't do this Alfred Hayes guy, man. Like, I don't know if he is, like, heralded on the internet, like, people love him, or if they're kind of like me and they're just kind of like, what is this guy doing here? Like, he does not fit to me in the whole, like... scheme of what's going on in WWF, and he's just got this British guy that's, I don't know, man. So, but he has some funny things, and we'll talk more about him going on. But yeah, that's just, I'll get my Lord Alfred Hayes distaste out of my mouth real quick.
I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I'd say you're probably in the majority of that. I've actually, again, all of this is so sentimental to me. It's right in my wheelhouse of growing up. I like him probably more than other people do, and I just, what I've liked about him more as I get older and watch the stuff is he just doesn't care a lot of times. He's just like, he seems like he's probably couple gin and tonics in, and is just like riffing. Sometimes he's a heel, sometimes he's a babyface. He just says some ridiculous stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
And this is one of those nights. So like you said, they're on commentary, and as Taker and Slaughter and Adnan are coming out, man, this is we're going to see throughout this tape, throughout these tapes that we're going to talk about, so many of these early days of the Undertaker, terrified kids in the crowd. So many great shots of these, which really sell this Undertaker gimmick. And we hear in almost every match, we hear the announcers talking about who was in the urn, who was in this mysterious urn that Paul Bearer is talking about. They're always trying to figure out whose remains are in the urn.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. I forgot. So we've been so far removed from this era over the last 5 years that I forgot that was such a talking point early on in his career. But yeah, Slaughter and Adnan come out together, and the commentary is like, "Where's Undertaker?" And he gets his own entrance, and then they coin a nickname here that you and I both picked up on. They call him the Pale Destroyer.
The Pale Destroyer sounds like Sheamus.
It does. It's a shameful thing. Yeah, it sounds like and it permeates all these videos. Pale Destroyer comes up a lot.
They try to get it over.
Yeah, really trying, but they say one of them, I think it's Lord Alfred Hayes, says the Pale Destroyer is arriving with a triangle of terror of his own. Paul Bearer and whoever's in that urn. So I guess Paul Bearer, Undertaker, and whoever's in the urn is a triangle of terror. That's the death triangle, if you will.
Ooh, there you go. The originators.
Exactly.
Well, Warrior and Hogan, of course, come out next. It's your standard Warrior and Hogan entrances. Warrior dashes to the ring.
He's a maniac.
Oh, he's on fire. Just did a line of coke and he's just like bolting out there.
He's blown up before the bell rings.
And the crowd eats it up, man.
They love it.
And
they love it.
Hogan gets a massive pop. He actually comes out with this big, giant American flag, and he gives it to a kid in the crowd. I hope this kid still has this flagpole with the American flag. You talk about getting sunglasses from Bret Hart, or a hat from John Cena, or a mask
Cody
from Rey
Rhodes'
Mysterio.
weight belt.
Yeah, no way, man. I want the American flag from Hulk Hogan. Come on.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Dude, they get right into it here. As soon as Hogan hits the ring, he rips his shirt, starts punching Slaughter, and then Hogan shoves his bandana in Sergeant Slaughter's mouth like he's Mick Foley doing the mandible claw.
Oh, he does. Yeah, he uses his do-rag as a snot rag. Yeah, and then he actually goes over and thumbs General Adnan in the eyes. And then I will say this, Lord Alfred Hayes calls out the babyfaces for cheating, so good for that. And we mentioned this a long time ago when Taker and Hogan, probably episode, 2? 5 or whatever that was? Anyway, just how Hogan was actually a heel. He cheated so much, pulling
every time,
Sid over the top, and back raking and thumb to the eye, but the crowd loved it at that time. And it wasn't, and he was a babyface, but he did everything was a heel. And so when he became Hollywood Hogan, he didn't have to change.
He didn't have to change anything.
It's all the same moves. Yeah. He just getting booed. But like, it's so glaring here. I'm like, he's cheating brutally, like right here at the beginning of this match. So,
well,
I love it.
He's cheating a little bit, but Lord Halford takes it over the top. He says, Hulk Hogan is foregoing every shred of decency and fairness here. And Sean Mooney sticks up for him. He's like, it is a handicap match. It's 3-on-2, so they're just trying to survive here. But Hogan and Warrior dominate. They give double boots to Slaughter. They're punching Adnan and Taker off the apron, just knocking him down, cleaning house. And as the match finally kind of gets started, I thought this was interesting that Slaughter's in the ring and Adnan and Taker, they're partners, but they're on opposite corners. They're not together at the same corner. They're halfway across the ring from each other. So it's kind of like Adnan's his partner and Slaughter's his partner, but they don't trust this guy. They're still kind of afraid of this Undertaker character.
See, I looked into it as Adnan sucks and didn't know which turnbuckle to go to. Okay. I'll be honest.
I'm giving him more credit.
I love that. I think that's probably the deal.
Maybe.
Commentary.
You might be right.
But I even wrote my note. I said this would never happen today. You would never have them on. I think I just forgot which turnbuckle to go. But no, let's rewind. I think that what you're saying makes more sense. kind of wish commentary picked up on that because that was pretty cool. But yeah, I just think my distaste for this Adnan guy is coming through in my notes.
That's fair.
Being a little negative. But yeah, they're on two different turnbuckles, and then Warriors on the other one. So it was just kind of weird. But a really cool thing does happen. So Hogan, he's going to cheap shot Taker, of course, but he doesn't fall off the apron. He hangs on there, and then Warrior tags in, does the same thing. Taker drops off, but of course he lands on his feet, and then they start. He kind of comes in, make quick tags again. This is the Pale Destroyer who rarely gets taken off his feet. He's a monster. He's the zombie, slow, methodical, moving. Not a lot of fast-paced action with him, except for those explosive moves he has. But it was really cool to see just these mega powers. These guys like Warrior and Hogan. They, as powerful as they are, they can barely knock him off the apron.
Oh yeah, he's getting put over as a monster huge here, and he's only 5 months into this character, to this run so far. You could tell they got big plans for the Undertaker here. And you said there's not a lot of fast-paced action, dude. I tell you what.
I mean, with him.
Not just period, dude. I tell you what, if you watch Double or Nothing and then you go watch this, you're gonna get some whiplash, man. Because I'm looking at my notes. I'm not seeing a wrestling move in here. I mean, I'm seeing. We're gonna talk about this throughout these matches: punch, kick, choke, punch, kick, choke, clothesline, punch, kick, big boot, punch, choke, choke, and that's all that's happening here. But it's fine. Because there's so much intensity. The crowd's eating up all of these characters. They don't care. They don't care that they're not doing Canadian destroyers and, shooting star presses or anything. They don't care at all. It's just action is finally kind of, we're not hitting every note here, but the heels do end up cutting off the baby faces, and Hogan stuck in the ring, Warriors working the crowd, looking for that hot tag, and he ends up getting tagged in. Warrior does. He unloads on Sergeant Slaughter, hits all his big moves, and then Sarge pokes Warrior in the eye, and Taker comes in. He's doing his offense, diving clothesline, choking him, and then I just literally put in my notes, choke, 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 as the heels distract the ref, and Undertaker chokes Warrior for what seems like 7 minutes.
Yeah, he chokes him on the mat. He chokes him while he's standing. Chokes him in the turnbuckle. Choking away. Yeah. But Warrior does get the hot tag, but the ref doesn't see it. No, ref does not see it, so he calls him back out. Makes him go back out.
Love that. Love that. Yet, immediately after, though,
Taker tags Slaughter behind the ref's back, and he comes in, and the ref is fine with it. He's like, all right.
That's what the heels do.
And I was just like, dang it, man. Why is the ref okay with this but not the other? So, yeah, it was great. But Hogan comes in, and he's getting his offense on Slaughter. Taker comes in to break up a pin. So he cares about getting this W here, Taker and Slaughter both double team Hogan. Kind of got him in a camel clutch, and Taker's kind of kicking him and everything. So that's going to lead toward the ending here.
Oh, yeah. I want to say, too, Slaughter at one point, Slaughter actually goes up on the top rope.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I've ever seen in my life. He went to the top rope to do a splash, and misses that.
It looks like if my dad went up there and did it. Like, it's like...
He looks like he's 50 years old.
Not a body guy, like he's not...
He's probably like 37 right there. He's probably like our age.
Yeah. These guys all look so old.
Yeah. And yeah, they do double team Sarge and Taker do. Kind of neat. Sarge gets him in the camel clutch, and Taker goes in and is pulling on Sergeant Slaughter, pulling him back to wrench the camel clutch, which is a cool double team in there. But then Warrior breaks that up, and him and Taker are going to brawl out of the ring. So their rivalry is already sort of underway here. Warrior and Taker, they're not legal, I don't think, and they just end up brawling on the outside, and they're going toe-to-toe, punch for punch with each other. Neither one is knocking each other down, which is a big deal against the Ultimate Warrior, that he's not able to knock Taker off his feet.
Oh, yeah, exactly. They kind of collar and elbow tie up and make their way down the aisle, and then back to the ring, the action, Slaughter accidentally hits Adnan with a clothesline. I think Hogan moves out the way or something. Then Hogan tosses Slaughter out, and then just 8 minutes later, goes over and pins General Adnan for the win.
Yep, from a clothesline.
It was like when it's like WrestleMania 19, that pedigree on Booker T, and then 4 minutes later, Triple H covers him and wins. Yeah, I thought Adnan was kicking out of this, but
no.
Anyway, but then that's not all for the shenanigans. There's more.
No, Hogan gets his hand raised with the belt, and then we cut to a shot like at the top of the aisle of the arena, and all of a sudden, Ultimate Warrior is like coming out of the entryway with, I think he's holding a door.
Table or door or something.
Yeah. He's just holding a giant piece of wood over his head and is throwing it towards Undertaker here. Like they've been having some sort of wild backstage brawl. I don't know where that came from. I don't know if Warrior literally ripped that off the hinges somewhere. It's certainly possible. But they're brawling, and then of course we get hashtag Hogan must pose in the ring to end things there, to send the fans home happy on this tape. Man, what a way to kick things off.
There you go. That's it, man. That's it. That's all she wrote. Not a lot of, like I said, not a lot of wrestling. You're not going to get an NXT TakeOver Classic there or a Ring of Honor thing, but you're going to get big stars that the fans care about, and they didn't need all the moves because they were so over. So there's something to be said for that.
And it's a spectacle. It's something to behold. I never thought I'd talk about those 5 people in a match together, but there it is. It happened. It's on Peacock. You can go watch it. Definitely, recommend checking it out just for the spectacle of it. So, our next matchup, we're gonna kind of see a through a lot of this stuff. This episode could basically be Ultimate Warrior versus Undertaker rivalry show, because we've got multiple matches showcasing their rivalry as we head into Rampage 1991. It's going to be our next VHS tape, featuring, again, I believe this is the main event on the tape, the Ultimate Warrior versus the Undertaker in a singles match. So that's going to be our next matchup. But oh no, that's not the only special event that we're going to get to talk about regarding this tape, is it, Travis?
No, we get, again, we mentioned earlier how the videos kind of had these little vignettes between and everything. Well, on this night, on this Coliseum Classic, we get to go to Paul Bearer's home. It's at home with Paul Bearer, and it is not the same house Taker lives in the Netflix show.
It's not.
Will say that.
No, this is Paul Bearer's house.
It's not the one that burned down in the comic book that I read, you guys, online. But it's at home with Paul Bearer,
or the one that Taker broke into and broke Paul Bearer's ankle, right before King of the Ring '98, I think.
Yeah, not that one either. But we pan down from a full moon, and it's Paul Bearer's home, and camera zooms into the front door and zoom out, and there's a fire crackling, and we got a dead body laying in a casket in his living room.
I don't know what this house is. I don't know where they found it or shot it, but my goodness, Paul Bearer is just doing 5 minutes of straight improv comedy here. They just let him cut loose and be ridiculous.
I think
and
it's only
so
2
entertaining
takes too. There's only one cut, I think, between it when we get to something in a minute. I think it's basically one long take of him just doing all this stuff. I want to see
the outtakes.
Yeah.
He welcomes in the Coliseum video viewers and says this home has been in his family for years, as a body falls out of a closet and pops open.
Yeah,
and
an arm.
Paul has to shove it back in there and says, "Oh, please forgive me. I forgot to tidy up."
And he said he's so busy at work, sometimes he has to bring his work home with him. So that's why he's got this casket in the living room that he's, I guess, preparing for burial. So it's so funny, man.
And he likes to relax when he's at home. So Paul Bearer goes to his home bar and fixes his favorite drink, which of course is a Bloody Mary. But then he says, I could also have a Bloody Jane, a Bloody Cindy, or a Bloody Tom. And he pulls these bottles out of a little miniature casket that's sitting on the home bar. And they're all labeled with Tom, Cindy, Jane, with their blood in there. And so,
he's Nosferatu or something.
He's the Crypt Keeper, man.
Yeah.
It's like Tales from the Crypt, just goofy, cheesy comedy.
It is, man. But that little mini casket is great.
It's beautiful.
Make one of those. You need one of those.
I need that for the home bar.
Get your grandfather to make one for you.
I could.
Show him this.
Oh, we got all these jokes and puns in here as Paul Bearer talks about...
Takes us to his library.
Takes us to his library with his favorite book, Death of a Salesman.
And he's got dead plants sitting there, and he's got a picture, a framed 8x10 of the Undertaker, but it's like, it's not from like home.
Oh no, it's
an
8x10. Like it's autograph on it
from WWF that he's framed. It's just amazing. And then we got the skull of George, who was a caretaker who didn't see the bus coming up over the hill. But it's like, it's obviously one of those ones you use in a classroom. It has like the line across the forehead that goes all the way around. It's so fake. It's so great.
Yeah, they went to the Halloween store right before this.
Yeah.
And then Paul wants to show us one more thing, a former school project of his.
Yeah, I was proud of him. I was excited.
He used while all the other kids in woodshop were making bookshelves and birdhouses, he made a guillotine, and he got an A on it and went to the head of his class.
Oh, and he shows us how it works. He just drops the guillotine. I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to suspend my disbelief so much so that I think little Paul can make a guillotine in woodshop class.
I believe it.
And he still has it at home 30 years later. So, it was great, man.
Oh, dude, this is worth the price of admission right here. If you watch nothing else, go back and watch this.
This is better than the match we're about to hit.
Well, without question.
It's better than most of the matches we're going to hit.
Unfortunately, Paul has to work in the morning, and the gentleman in his living room has an early appointment, so he has to throw it to the main event match on this tape.
Dang it.
I know. Yeah, dang it, because we got Sean Mooney and Lord Alfred Hayes on commentary again. And apparently we got Robert Goulet in the ring doing the ring introductions. Man, did you see this guy?
Yeah. I don't know who he was.
I've never seen him before.
I was going to ask you who this guy was. So, oh, man. Well, yeah, Paul Bearer leads Taker, down, and they carry a body bag. Again, we didn't get to touch a lot on the body bag stuff in our early episodes because he never brought it out on those pay-per-views, really. That was a lot on the weekly shows and TV and these Coliseum Classics. I mean, that's something that we really didn't hit on because we never saw it, but it's a big part of his early run there. And we'll see it a couple times here. So
yeah, he'd always put the jobbers in a body bag after he gave them the tombstone and wrap them up, zip them up in there. And I don't think they say
in a body bag.
Boom. That was from Undertaker. That's where they came from. I don't know if this was officially a body bag match. I know that they did that sometimes on house shows, like a casket match where you had to win by putting your opponent in the body bag. They don't say that officially, but it is going to come to play here throughout this matchup as they're already, again, this takes place around July or June of 1991, so 7 or 8 months into the Undertaker character, and the announcers are already putting over his entrance, putting over the psychological advantage that his entrance gives as he walks down the aisle. They point out his music, that it gives icy chills to anyone as he walks down the aisle.
Yeah, and they're again talking about the urn and who's in the urn, what's in the urn, does he draw power from the urn? They kind of bring all that stuff up. Again, stuff that's kind of lost later on in Taker's career. But yeah, they really are putting him over. We talked about that early on in this first few episodes of Talking Taker, just how from out the gate he was given that presentation more so than pretty much anybody, and it's really always been there. And Warrior, again, he just like a maniac.
90 miles an hour.
Just runs out. And there's a dude cosplaying as him in the crowd. That's awesome.
Oh, a grown adult male dressed up fully as Ultimate Warrior in 1991. Yeah. I love it.
He gets in the ring and he just goes at Taker. Again, the babyface jumping the gun, starting the match here like a heel should. So great.
Yeah, he tosses Taker into the corner. Taker's no-selling. Whips him into the other corner. He's no-selling. But Warrior clotheslines him out of the ring. And we see that perfect 10 landing that Undertaker is known for. Lands on his feet. And Warrior is beating his chest, doing all his Warrior stuff. Undertaker's looking to the urn from Paul Bearer, and Warrior grabs Undertaker by the hair and tries to pull him back in the ring, and we see another signature move from Undertaker as he hits that apron stunner and takes advantage.
Oh yeah, then Taker's going to, again, slowly, methodically make his way back in the ring. and then he's going to grab Warrior's throat from the outside, climb into the top or over the top rope, and then they say it's a choke, but he's actually grabbing like his face and he's smothering him. And they even mention like, I wonder if he has formaldehyde on his gloves or something like to put him out. And then just scene stealer Paul Bearer is going to just turn it up a notch on the outside.
He always knew exactly where the camera was, and he's not just like, doing his normal stuff with the urn. As Undertaker is working over Warrior, Paul Bearer has got his tie, and he is holding his tie up above his neck, pantomiming that he wants Undertaker to hang the Ultimate Warrior and kill him like that way.
Like it's from The Simpsons or something. Yeah. Hang him.
Again,
hang him. Yeah.
You couldn't do that in 2022, but
No.
It was just so over the top.
It's so good, man. And he's, calling these things Taker, and they're saying he's telling Undertaker to hang him. So, and then Taker's going to continue to smother Warrior. Again, I think he's got his right hand on Warrior, and his left hand is out reaching for the urn the whole time. So he's getting that power from the urn, and then Warrior goes down to one knee, and Paul Bearer's like, it's over, and then this scene just plays on, and it's literally 3.5 to 4 minutes of Taker just choking or face, whatever it is, on the Warrior, and Warrior's up, and then he's down, and he's up, and he's down, and he's just a lot of choking. But it's a big deal because Warrior, you didn't see him that vulnerable very often.
That's true.
And they point that out on commentary, but it is a lot to witness when you're watching it, expecting some action.
Standing still, man. It's kind of brutal. I'm not gonna lie. This one does not quite hold up quite the same way. Finally, Warrior does work his way up. He gets hyped up by the crowd. He's doing his war dance. He's hulking up, basically. Taker's trying to headbutt him down, and Taker's just stalking him around, and Warrior finally hits he gets up, he's punched him. Taker actually does cut him off, though, and hits his signature flying clothesline. And Warrior's trying to get up, but he's selling his back. And Undertaker's continuing to work him over, goes for a big elbow drop, but Warrior rolls out of the way. But interestingly, Taker gets up even faster than Warrior does here.
Yep.
So Warrior's still trying to get up and starts shaking the ropes to regain his power here.
Oh, yeah. It's like he gets the power from the ropes, and like Taker goes from the urn. So, but yeah, Warrior finally gets up and gets Taker up for a body slam and hits him with a clothesline, and then another clothesline, and then another clothesline. But it's weird, like he's like bouncing off of he's not running across the ring. He's running he'll run from the left side and hit the top side of the ring, and then goes he changes just angles while it's kind of confusing. Yeah, he's wild. And then he goes for that, and then Taker goes down and hits an uppercut, though, kind of stalls him, almost like a Gold Dust type uppercut. Just hits the knee, and then boom, hits him. And then he gets him up, and is about to do something we've rarely see at this point.
Tombstone City nails Warrior clean with the tombstone, and I just noticed at the same time Grandma in the crowd, just right in front of the camera, just walking down to the ring at this point. I guess she'd been in the bathroom this whole time, and I think it may have been the Where's the Beef
It
lady.
looked like her.
It looked exactly like her. Just like you picture a generic grandma from a movie, and this was her, just right in front of the camera. That just made me laugh. She missed all this exciting choking and clotheslining, but Taker, he takes his time. You talk about taking your time going for a pin. He takes forever to try to pin Warrior here, folds the arms over, and Warrior's going to kick out.
Yeah, and they even say that we don't think anyone's ever kicked out of this before. But that's before he goes for the pinfall, because he takes 9 minutes to cover. I just don't understand but one thing we talked about early on in this podcast was how he was a sense of urgency to get the win, to go the pinfalls and get the quick covers and stuff.
Yes.
Not here.
Not here.
Developed a little bit later. So not in the first 7 months he was there. But yeah, he waits for quite a while and then pins him, and Warrior kicks out.
Which is a big deal. Okay.
Yeah.
Especially in these days, It was rare to kick out of a finisher, rare to kick out of the tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they would mention on TV for years that no one had kicked out of the tombstone. But if you pay attention to these Coliseum videos, Warrior may have been the very first, if I'm not mistaken, and one of the only ones.
I think so. But yeah, then something, I don't know, Warrior's getting hype again. Taker's going to grab the urn and then just hit Warrior in the head with it. And then the bell rings. But then, like, the commentary is confused as to what happened. They're like, was that an errant bell or an involuntary ringing? And, I mean, I don't know what their problem is. To me, he blatantly hit him with the urn and the ref called for the bell.
It seems pretty obvious.
Yeah.
You hit somebody with a weapon, the referee saw it, he called for a bell. But they're like, again, they were drunk or they were not watching the TV. They didn't understand what's happening here. They might have. Because, Mooney and Hayes are totally perplexed as Paul Bearer, he's got the body bag. He brings it into the ring. And Lord Alfred even says, this must mean it's a victory for the Undertaker. And the Warrior must have submitted here because there was no official word. And it's like, what? The ref clearly called for the bell after Undertaker used a weapon to hit him. What are you saying? And they're going to try to wrap up the Warrior in the body bag.
Yeah, Sean Mooney calls it a life-threatening situation.
Absolutely.
Get the EMTs down there. But, of course, Warrior's going to break free because he's the Ultimate Warrior, and he clotheslines Taker out of the ring. And Taker's trying to get back in, but Paul Bearer does what he pulls the back of his hair, pulls him back, holds the urn up in front of him, and kind of just tames his beast, and walks him back to the back. And then we get the official word that Warrior wins by DQ because we were paying attention.
Yes, we understand the rules of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a cool, again, spectacle. I'll probably overuse that word here because that's what these feel like. But Warrior gets the win over Taker, but Taker really doesn't lose anything along the way here. Again, keeps both guys looking strong and honestly puts over Undertaker a lot by having him be able to go toe-to-toe with Warrior so much. And Warrior just kind of barely escapes here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that wraps that up. It's going to take us on to my favorite breakfast cereal.
What's that?
The Crunch Classic.
Oh, I love a bowl of Crunch Classic.
Sounds like it should be a WWF licensed cereal. Yeah,
it should have been.
Next one is the Crunch Classic. That's just a weird name for a tape.
It is an odd name. They had some kind of odd names here back in the day, but this one's hosted by none other than the Hot Rod, Roddy Piper. So he's the one getting to cut promos, and looks like he's just he is all drugged up doing these promos. He's classic Hot Rod here.
Oh yeah.
But this is a very special match here that we're going to cover next because it's actually requested by one of the fans. Man, I love this.
Yeah, he sent a postcard in. Yeah.
Postcard.
Yeah, this is a Crunch Classic, and then about halfway through the video, Roddy Piper shares a postcard from a friend, which is J.B. Franklin II.
Oh, right.
From St. Louis. So if you're still out there, if you're J.B. Franklin II, we want to hear from you.
God, I hope he's listening.
But he requests Davey Boy Smith versus the Undertaker, which yeah. And this match is from Dayton, Ohio, apparently. So
thanks, JB. Well, we're excited to talk about this one. Again, Shawn Mooney and Lord Alfred Hayes on commentary as your ears begin to bleed. Yeah. More kids, of course, scared in the audience as Bearer and Undertaker come out, and Shawn Mooney, he gets some funny riffing and improving in here as he talks about a meeting he had with Paul Bearer earlier in the day to discuss a family funeral plan, and Paul Bearer being very pushy about it, and Shawn Mooney being very concerned about all of that. It was a nice little comedy work.
A little levity there.
Yeah.
And then one thing that I will say, this is, I guess this is later on in '91, so they do mention how Taker's the quote is, he's cooled his cold black heart a little bit over the recent past, but he's still creepy because at the end of '91-ish, early '92, he's going to be a babyface, right? So they mentioned he's kind of cooled off a little bit his creepiness and his black heart. So I guess because he does get a fair share of cheers here when his music hits.
Yeah, this is, from what I could tell, this is from October of '91, the match, and I bet I don't know exactly. I bet this tape was probably released in early '92, which is when he would have been babyface. So there, and this is Bulldog's clearly a babyface here. So it's probably the commentary coming in afterward, trying to cover over some of that weirdness of the match being released after Taker's a heel, or after babyface, but he's still a heel in the match. But it's certainly we've talked about their unique history, Bulldog and Taker, how Bulldog was the one title defense that the Undertaker had in his 6-day world title reign back in 1991. This is not one of those matches, but interesting that they had, they were kind of house show opponents here around that same time period. And boy, does Davey Boy, British Bulldog, does he not look like $1 million here, man?
This is my favorite version of Bulldog. The long hair, the jacked, the braided hair. This is my favorite British Bulldog. Love it. He gets a great pop, and we'll see him more on these videos as we continue throughout here. But yeah, he looks fantastic, man. He comes out, great pop, and Taker's going to attack him first. He's going to attack with a choke in the corner.
Naturally. That's happening. We get some ref intimidation, classic, as a ref tries to stop Taker, but he won't let him stop. As great as Bulldog looks, Taker just looks like an absolute monster here. You can tell how comfortable he's getting playing this character, how comfortable Paul Bearer is, because he's continuing to play to the camera. We get some of the same stuff we've seen already with a clothesline to the outside and Taker getting a perfect 10 landing. They're going to brawl on the outside as Bulldog's going to slam Taker into the steps. But Taker's going to basically no-sell it and hit an apron stunner. And, man, did you notice another thing in the crowd?
Yes. Someone's got like a noisemaker or a guitar or something, and they're doing like the Death March song like on it. And they keep playing it over and over again. And I'm like, what is happening right now? I'm glad you heard that too.
Dude, I couldn't stop laughing at it.
They're like next to the cameraman. I don't know.
Who brings a keyboard into a house show?
Yeah. Maybe have the piano key necktie. Who knows, man? I don't know.
Oh, could have been.
But it's like right next to the cameraman because it's really loud. Speaking of the cameraman.
Oh, you mean Marty Applebaum?
Yeah, Marty Applebaum.
Oh, my favorite cameraman.
So good to meet you, Marty. Yeah. Taker's choking again. Surprise! Choking Bulldog on the middle rope, and Lord Alfred Hayes is like, "Oh, look at this camera work from the wonderful Marty Applebaum." What are you smoking? I don't know, but it's amazing.
Yeah. All right, then. I don't know if that's an inside joke or what that was. Or maybe it literally was Marty Applebaum.
His name's Marty Applebaum.
That's my new favorite character.
Yeah. So a little peek behind the curtain there. So.
Marty's getting some good shots of Taker stalking Bulldog, slamming him into the stairs, again, kind of dominating this part of the match. And similarly to the last match, he's going to go for an elbow here. Bulldog misses, or he misses Bulldog, and then Bulldog's going to try to slam Undertaker, but his back is going to give out, and the weight's going to give out, which is rare for Bulldog, because he was always shown to be like the strongest guy. He'd hold people up in the suplex for a minute at a time and stuff. So pretty, again, just shows you how much they're putting over the Undertaker, that he's able to have this effect on guys like Warrior, Hogan, Bulldog.
Absolutely. And then Taker gets that running diving clothesline, which kind of gets a little botched a little bit. Winds up being more of a shoulder block, but that's neither here nor there. And then Taker gets some power from the urn. He gets recharged, and he's going to get the good old alien face hugger on Bulldog.
Yep.
Gets him, and they mention here that might have some of that embalming fluid to asphyxiate the Bulldog there. So, he just kicks a little Q-tip and puts it on his hand.
Just dips his hand in the jar before he comes out. Some guys pour water or baby oil on themselves. He's got a jar of formaldehyde. He just dips his glove in before he walks out.
But his arm drops twice, and he, of course, wakes up, and he's going to get out of there because he's a babyface.
Paul Bear's doing his best to encourage Taker, though, as he's on the outside. He's not hanging himself, but this time he's saying, "The power of the urn compels you. The power of the urn compels you. The power of the urn compels you."
Yeah, he's on it, dude.
Oh, he's on it, man. I love Paul Bear so much.
Bulldog is able to hit that stalling vertical suplex now, but Taker sits up immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Bulldog's going to go for his patented power slam, and he does connect it this time. And another weird timing. I don't know if it's a botch. Paul Bear's too busy playing to the camera, not paying attention, maybe, because he is supposed to run in for a distraction on Bulldog, and he is super late. Like, Bulldog has to stand around pretending to not go for a pin here.
Yeah.
But Paul Bear runs into the ring. He runs after Paul Bear, and while he's doing that, Taker's going to grab the urn and nail the Bulldog with it.
Yeah, he's going to hit him. It was like sitting on the apron, I think, when Taker grabs it, hits him with it, and then he's actually going to cross the arms over Bulldog and get the pin for the win. Which is kind of cool. So getting a win over the Bulldog,
that's a big deal. Absolutely.
Yeah, even though if it was cheap, lots of boos from the crowd, though, this one. They are not into Taker when he pins him cheaply like that. So, but
and I want to point out something Taker did here, real subtle. I think we pointed it out. We talked about another match with the Bulldog that he did this in. He nails Bulldog with the urn. And then Undertaker just gently sets the urn down because it's so precious and so important. No, he does not toss it to the outside. He doesn't hide it from the referee. He takes his time putting this valuable urn down after he hit Bulldog with it, which is just, such great detail and attention to detail from him.
Yep.
And they're going to pull the body bag out again to try to get Bulldog in the body bag this time.
And we're going to get the same ending as the Warrior match. Basically, he gets closed on over the top rope. Paul Bear pulls his hair, holds the urn from his face. They walk up the ramp, and Bulldog cheers, or gets cheered in the middle of the ring. So, yeah. But fun what it was.
Fun for what it was. Kind of classic Coliseum video, cheap finish, and then the babyface is able to look strong, even if they don't win here. But that'll take us from the British Bulldog to Great Britain. To England here as we get this is not our final match. This is our fourth tape, but this is probably my favorite one that we got to cover. I don't think I'd ever seen this one, but I believe it was a UK exclusive, and it's now available on Peacock, which is awesome. This is the Battle at the Royal at the Albert Hall.
Battle Royal at the Royal Albert Hall. Yeah, it's
Royal Battle at the Royal Albert Royal Hall, something like that.
Albert's Hall, yeah.
Starring Marty Applebaum.
Marty Applebaum. Oh, I had to look that guy up.
Oh, yeah.
But this one, thank God, is hosted by Gorilla Monsoon and Sir Robert of Heenan, Lord Brain. He calls himself, I am Sir Robert of Heenan, Lord Brain.
What a breath.
I've missed this man so much.
Music to my ears.
Oh, did you catch the not safe for work commentary that they had right at the beginning about the Queen and where she's located? Where she's sitting?
No, I don't remember that.
Okay.
I don't know if I was paying attention.
I'll let people leave it.
I'll let people discover it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is...
I don't know if they meant it or not, but it was very brutal. It was... I don't know. I think Heenan made it.
He definitely did, whatever he said. I believe this was like a UK exclusive TV special or pay-per-view special back in 91, October 3rd, 91 this takes place. And this is different than all these other Coliseum videos, which are just match compilations from different shows. This is a literal 2-hour event, all from the Royal Albert Hall, which is, oh man, I watched most of this show because it was so good. It's so unique. It's such a cool venue. I think you reminded me that they did the UK tournament here a few years ago for NXT UK, and dude, it's just awesome. The crowd is awesome. There's like a Rockers Nasty Boys match at the beginning of the tape that's just the crowd is electric for. It's really, really, really cool show. I highly encourage people to check this out. Check out the whole thing if you've never seen it.
Yeah, it's a cool show, and the UK fans, you think they're wild and zany today. They were wild and zany back then too, man.
Oh yeah.
They got the cat calls, the soccer chants, the air horns, the thing, and they all know how many times to say whatever it is and then to stop. They all stop in unison and start in unison. It's amazing. But it was even happening back. I remember a lot of NXT UK stuff, seeing that and just watching Progress Wrestling from overseas and stuff, just watching a lot of that and hearing a lot of it. But just in the last 10 years. But dude, they had it going on in 91 too, man. So they're wild.
Very unique venue and atmosphere here, and like I said, it's kind of formatted like a live event. So we are going to get a live funeral parlor segment before this matchup takes place. So, of course, that was Paul Bear's interview segment back in the day, and they've got the set here with the smoke and green lighting and everything, and the casket as Paul Bear welcomes us to London, and he talks about all the royalty that has passed through the doors of the legendary Albert Hall. And where are they now? They're in the cemetery. Oh, yes.
Oh, I missed the funeral parlor. It was good. So, yeah, we got the green lights and smoke going around, and he tells Hacksaw that tonight's the night he's going to join the grave. And Taker actually speaks, which he didn't do that much back then, but he says that Hacksaw's breath will run out, and before the battle royal, the rigor mortis will set in before a massive WWF burial. So he's going to just murder everyone on the show, I guess.
And I do want to step in here, Travis, because this is weird timing to be covering that sort of promo with Hacksaw Jim Duggan, because I know he just talked about on social media that his cancer has come back in real life, and we don't want to make light of that. We, of course, want to send our well wishes out to Hacksaw, a legend and one of our favorites, and we do hope he makes a full recovery here. Absolutely. Yeah. Big old ho and a thumbs up for Hacksaw.
On that TV title in the trash can, cleaning the bathroom in WCW. It's good stuff, man.
He's the man, and hope that he does make a full recovery here. But
absolutely.
Weird to be talking about him facing the Undertaker, but that's what it is, man. We got a singles match with Undertaker and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and then Undertaker's going to compete in the show-closing Battle Royal after this. But, dude, we've talked about Paul Bear at home in the funeral parlor. That was an awesome moment to talk about. And, this might be even better than that, this next moment that comes up on this tape, because on last month's episode 200, we talked about the top 10 greatest Undertaker entrances of all time, and we both made our list. We talked about our list. The fans talked about their list. We talked about so many classic entrances. Brother, we missed one that might take a spot in our top 10s if I had to redo it right here on this VHS tape.
Yeah, this one was pretty neat, man. There's a fella. Okay, so the Royal Albert Hall has a giant pipe organ.
Oh, beautiful!
Like, yeah, it's amazing. And dude in a Phantom of the Opera mask, which again, how pathetic is that?
He has face paint on.
Yeah,
he does not have a
face
mask.
Paint.
They couldn't find a Phantom mask, so they just painted his face Phantom of the Opera style.
Even better, but he's playing the pipe organ. You know, and he's sitting there in like a cape and the painted thing, which again I thought was pretty prophetic because Taker would go on to wear that mask later on. So, but he's playing the music, dude.
He's playing Taker's entrance music.
Yeah, Taker's entrance music on the pipe organ in the Royal Albert Hall. So, pretty cool.
Dude, I cannot believe I've never heard of this.
I never heard of it in my life.
Never seen it before. No. Why does this not get talked about? Because this is his first epic entrance, not SummerSlam 92 or WrestleMania 9. This right here, because this is so unique and special. They didn't do anything like this for anybody else on the show. But, you know, Taker's music is the organ, the funeral march, and they actually have a man. I mean, it is live. It's not pre-recorded. It sounds different. It's not the recorded version. It's not fake. No. He is literally playing the organ. I'm sure he's a staff guy at Royal Albert Hall or something like that. This was unbelievable. I love it so much.
Yeah, I have no idea how this is just snuck by us these last 5 years.
Lord Heenan even says, I got hair on my arm standing up, and I got hair standing up where I don't even have hair. Which is, that's how much he loved it.
He's on some not safe for work stuff all night.
This is so cool.
Oh, he's funny, man. Yeah, and again, Taker's out, and Gorilla says that Taker has formaldehyde running through his veins, and he says, the guy's just not real.
Oh, man. I tell you what's unreal is Hacksaw Jim Duggan coming out here waving the red, white, and blue Stars and Stripes in the Royal Albert Hall, and I just wrote that literally no one else on the planet Earth could get fans in the United Kingdom to chant USA, USA, but Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
He's
and
the only
that's
man.
Why he's the legend.
Commander-in-Chief right there. He should work for the United Nations. Yeah. But Heenan calls him the resident dummy, which is hilarious. He comes out. But yeah, I just noted that too. Like, comes out American flag in the UK. Whole crowd loves it.
No one is booing him.
No,
he's
not
getting
one
cheered,
boo.
getting USA chants.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's amazing. And yeah, you're right. Nobody else could make that happen but him. So the bell rings, and Taker immediately comes at him. So, of course, Hacksaw clotheslines him, and he gets a perfect 10 landing on the outside, and he's back up, and Taker gets punched off the apron again. Then we get that USA chant. Even more. Taker hits an apron stunner to a chorus of boos, man. He was definitely not a babyface here in the UK.
No, he was not. And like clockwork, Gorilla and Bobby, you start wondering who's in the urn, what kind of things are in the urn. Taker's choking Duggan, gets some ref intimidation.
With his gravedigger paws, Bobby Heenan says.
His gravedigger paws.
He says he's hitting with again. I mentioned on episode 1 how he's always reminded me of Gravedigger. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool.
The crowd is chanting USA, trying to hype up Jim Duggan. And
so funny.
We get sort of a slop drop spot as Duggan just kind of collapses as Undertaker stalks him and goes after him, and Taker tries to jump on him and choke him to try and save it. And great line here is Gorilla says, "The Undertaker is just a man. He still puts on his pant legs one leg at a time." And Bobby the Brain says, "I doubt it. He may never take those pants off. This man is not human."
I miss Heenan so much. He's so good. They start. Go ahead.
I just talking about Heenan. I loved how excited you could tell he was to see the Undertaker, and that's even when Taker was a babyface and Bobby Heenan was always a heel, he would always be enthusiastic about Undertaker, just talking about how unreal this guy was. And that's what I loved about Heenan, is he would let his guard down, and you could tell when he was really excited about something. And you remember this back in WCW, like he was a heel, but Bobby Heenan loved Goldberg. He loved to talk about the streak. He would get hyped when Goldberg would come out. He just saw this presence in Goldberg, and he would always be pumped when Goldberg would have matches. And he was the same way with The Undertaker back in the day. Even when Taker was a face and he was a heel, he would be excited about it here. And I loved that about the Brain.
Oh, he's the best, man. And after that random fall Hacksaw had, Taker goes for old school. And again, which would have been new school at this point.
Indeed.
But he hits it, and Heenan then just goes on and imagines that Taker and Jack the Ripper just having a good time, jumping from rooftops to rooftops, just having a great night out on the town. I guess just murdering folks and burying them.
That could be the next Netflix special. With Taker and Jack the Ripper.
Just jumping from rooftop to
My
rooftop.
word.
Yeah.
Boy, this match is our match quality is jumping downhill here, as Duggan was never the greatest in-ring performer here, and this is just more punching, kicking, ref intimidation. Jim Duggan gets a lift job out of the corner, as the announcers call it. I'm not sure what that is, but he pulls Taker out of the corner. They knock each other down. Duggan goes on top of Taker and hits some punches on top of the turnbuckle. Only 5, not quite 10. And then Duggan, out of nowhere, just walks outside of the ring after beating up Undertaker and just randomly begins chasing Paul Bearer around for no particular reason.
He took the 2x4. So.
They didn't show that on the camera.
They didn't show it, but the commentary mentioned it. Yeah, so he takes a 2x4 and is walking away with it, and that's why Hacksaw goes after him. And then Taker is going to come out and hit Hacksaw from behind and go in the ring, hit the running diving clothesline. And then Hacksaw, again, the babyface, finally gets the 2x4 back from Paul Bearer and then just smacks the Undertaker in the gut with it to lose by DQ. Just babyfaces being heels, dude, in early 90s WWF.
Every single match.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And Duggan protects himself by not losing here. But the interesting part, as the Heenan notes, Duggan nailed Taker with the 2x4 in the stomach and the back, but Undertaker did not leave his feet. He did not go down. It did not even barely phase him. But Duggan knocks him out of the ring, and he ends up landing on his feet, and Taker is led away by Paul Bearer to protect himself for the upcoming match in the Battle Royal coming up next.
Got to save himself for the next match. He's got a big prize at the end. But, Hacksaw celebrating in the ring as if he just won. The crowd's just all over it. I'm so confused. Like, I don't know, man. These guys just don't care about wins and losses, I guess.
Nope.
So,
Nope.
but got to get that babyface heat, man, at the end. You know,
That's it.
That is one thing WWF was good at, was babyface heat at the end. NWA was getting heel heat. WCW, WWF getting babyface heat.
You know, somehow it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
They won. They're still around.
Yep, so. They got to cheer. The crowd got to love it. Well, then we got to talk about this main event, man. We got the main event of this tape, of this show, is the prestigious Battle Royal at the Albert Hall for the Royal Samovar Trophy.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know if it's as prestigious as the Aggro Crag or the 2-weight trophy from Saudi Arabia.
Which Taker has.
He does have, and maybe that's why he wanted it so bad, because he missed out on the Royal Samovar Trophy, which is we see revealed is a Russian teapot. That is what a Royal
Russian
Samovar is.
Yes. Gorillas. Why are we auctioning off a Russian tea dispenser? But my favorite thing of the whole night, I think, is Bobby Heenan says, only in the World Wrestling Federation could you get 20 men fighting for a teapot.
Even he's calling it out
all you season. He doesn't care. So
I don't know the history of this Royal Samovar. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why this was happening.
It's just on Vince's calendar, word of the day calendar. He's like, oh, we're gonna do that. Like, he just doesn't care. Yes.
I'm sure it's just a prop they bought at Home Goods or Michael's or something like that. They just found there. It's hilarious. But unfortunately for you, Travis, Lord Alfred Hayes is going to join us for commentary for this main event. But he's going to the ring announcer is going to explain that the rules are simple for this match.
Mm-hmm.
By whatever means necessary, a man must be thrown over the top rope, making contact with the floor on the outside. This is the process of elimination. This process continues until one man remains in the ring. That survivor is declared as the winner of this royal match. And as a reward for his effort, that man is to be presented with the Royal Samovar.
Got it.
Simple enough?
Got it.
Got it. Okay.
Got it.
And this is cool. We're actually going to get entrances for all 20 guys.
Well, first up's your boy.
Texas Tornado.
Texas Tornado.
Love him.
Natural Disasters out next.
Yeah, Tito Santana looking 47 years old, as always. We got the Rockers, the Barbarian.
Barbarian, Big Bossman, over as crap in the UK.
Heck
when
yes.
Bossman comes out, he gets up to this point the biggest pop. It is insane. Power and Glory.
Ric Flair is going to be there, and he is the Real World's champion, as he has just debuted. And Heenan's going to get some digs in on Hogan, saying, why is Hogan not here? He's out in Hollywood making movies. The Real World champ, Ric Flair, is here.
Yep.
And then Hacksaw Jim Duggan comes out, and the Brain talks about what a disgrace Jim Duggan would be to win this Royal Samovar. He would just get jelly stains all over it and fill it with Kool-Aid. Jelly stains.
It's so good. Then the Road Warriors, and then at that point, nobody's getting a pop bigger than them, man. Like, not even Flair, but like Road Warriors come out.
Road
and they
Warrior
get that
pop.
Road Warrior pop. It is insane. Bulldog, huge pop, and then the Undertaker, and then Roddy Piper. So listen to that.
Yeah, that's the lineup.
This is the last the last 5. Ric Flair, Road Warriors, British Bulldog, Undertaker, Roddy Piper. That's insane. Insane. So, oh man.
This is a 20-man lineup, star-studded, dude. Some Hall of Famers, legends. Not a bad man in the bunch here. Very, very cool. And
not a roid-free body in the bunch.
Oh,
except for maybe
not.
Brian
Definitely
Knobs.
not. Yeah, Knobs and Sags.
They probably get jelly stains on the samovar.
Oh, easily.
But dude, when Roddy comes in, he just immediately goes for Ric Flair.
Yes.
I love it, dude. Just instantly going for Flair. And then Taker grabs your boy Texas Tornado, man.
Yeah.
Tries to rope the win, dude, right there from the get-go.
Garth Brooks stuff.
Yeah.
And he's not successful with it there. But, yeah, we don't need to hit all the action points in here. It's a battle royal.
Kick, joke.
But I tell you what, man, I love a good old battle royal. I don't mind seeing it because it's fun to see everybody in there. It's fun to see these guys just kind of having fun and goofing off, and different pairings and different eliminations in there. There's one of my favorite eliminations early on is Piper gets Nasty Boy Knobs on the apron, and Knobs he saves himself, and then he stands up, and Piper just pokes him off the apron with one finger and knocks him off the apron and eliminates him.
Funny.
That's hilarious.
That's a good one. I think my favorite elimination up to this point was Michael. At some point, not Michael Hayes, Lord Alfred Hayes. It's right after that, the finger poke. Hayes says, "One of the Rockets is gone. I believe that's Monty Jannetty." And then Heenan goes, "That doesn't matter," which is a little bit of prophecy.
Doesn't matter.
He was such an afterthought. Like, once him and Shawn broke up, I was like, he had no idea. He was prophesying. He's like, it doesn't matter. It's how rude. It's so funny.
There's some cool stuff with Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels facing off with each other, considering their history later on. And then Taker does get to be sort of a focal point here. The announcers are always pointing him out, showing him on camera, talking about him being able to withstand all the pain and all the shots from the different people that are hitting him, how dominant he is here.
Plus, he had a match. He got hit in the gut by a 2x4 already.
Yeah, he's already had all that happen.
Yeah.
Hacksaw gets the 2x4 again and nails Earthquake with it to knock him out, and the crowd loves that. They just eat that up.
Yeah, babyface Hacksaw once again eliminating the guy.
After he's been eliminated. Hacksaw had already been eliminated. He came back in and
eliminated the guy. Like, Austin did that in the 97 Rumble, but he's a heel.
Yep, doesn't matter.
But then Flair and Roddy go back and forth, and then Roddy tosses Flair over the top, so he's out, man. He's out. And then Piper crotches Taker on top rope, and it's like shakes the rope up and down, so Taker's which again usually used for a comedy spot, but he was used on Taker here. But then Taker headbutts him, saunters around. Glory gets eliminated. Animals tossed over by Taker. Now we're down to the final 6 here.
Yeah, the final 6 are the Mountie, Typhoon, Big Boss Man, British Bulldog, Roddy Piper, and the Undertaker here. So again, 6 big guys, 6 big stars there at the end, and Taker's going to go to clothesline Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper's going to duck, and he is going to eliminate the Undertaker. Taker's not going to be happy about that, and he immediately pulls up and yanks Piper out of the ring right there as well and eliminates him. So they're going to brawl and fight up the aisle out of there as they are out of here, man. They're eliminated. Taker's gone.
So now we got Mountie, Typhoon, Bulldog, and Bossman, and I just wrote, I wonder who's winning this one.
I wonder who it could be.
Yeah, and then so Bossman and Mountie.
But I will say it's cool. They kind of reset here. Jimmy Hart is manager of both Typhoon and Mountie, and he pulls them over and they huddle, have a little strategy here. As long as one of those 2 guys win, they're going to be okay with it here.
Yeah, and then but Heenan makes a rare flubby dub, and he says that Jimmy Hart's organization is going to take out the British Bulldog single-handedly. Which, how could you do that if it's 2 of you?
Yeah, not quite. Yeah.
But it is kind of neat to reset, and you got Canada versus USA, Bossman and Mountie. Both guys that patrol, keep our streets safe on different parts of the world. Bulldog tries to throw Typhoon over, and the crowd is up for that, trying to get cheer on Bulldog. He's trying to throw this big guy over, and Mountie saves him. They team up on Bulldog. Commentary do keep mentioning Bulldog just competed against the Barbarian right before this match. It was the match right before this. So, and then Typhoon accidentally sends Mountie over the top rope. So now he's lost his friend.
Yeah, Typhoon's going to go for a big splash. He said he hits Mountie, knocks him out. And then the final 2 are Bulldog and Typhoon. Bulldog keeps running into Typhoon, but he won't go down. He goes for a drop kick, and he does knock him down. Typhoon gets back up. He runs Bulldog into the corner, clotheslines him, runs after him again, and Bulldog back body drops him over the top rope as the crowd just goes nuts. Freaking huge pop. That's why I love Battle Royals. You just work the crowd up into that. Lord Alfred on commentary is going nuts. He loves it too. British pride, Great Britain pride. But it's not quite over yet, as the natural disasters are going to team back up as Earthquake runs back down, and they're going to try to get some heat on the Bulldog.
Yeah, they actually do. They start going at him and kind of decimating Bulldog here. And then he's going to get saved by a returning Andre the Giant, who is limping out on a cane. And he looks like he's been at the bowling alley, and he just came. He's got like a bowling shirt and velvet pants on, but it is cool to see him come back. He's got a cane. He's coming down, and the crowd is cheering for seeing Andre again. And then Bulldog celebrates with the crowd here. It's a pretty cool ending to the show.
Yeah, he drops his crutch, his cane, and double headbutts the Natural Disasters, hits him with the crutch, sends him packing. A very, very cool moment. I believe this was Andre's final WWF televised appearance before he passed away in 1993. But yeah, I mean, he looks in terrible shape, but the fans love seeing him there, and it's a great moment, very special moment, very cool moment as Bulldog takes the Royal Samovar trophy, takes it home with him. And I remember the commentators, I had never seen this match, but I remember commentators for years would talk about Bulldog winning the famous Battle Royal at the Royal Albert Hall. So it was a big deal, a big moment, very cool to see. And I highly encourage people to go check this whole tape out on the network.
Oh, I highly encourage it. And it's even apparently being watched by people that we aren't even suggesting.
Tell us about this, man. This is unbelievable.
This is wow. I would not believe this if someone told me this. So I watched this match, I guess it was a week or two ago, to get ready for the show. Literally on whatever night it was, Monday night, Tuesday night, whatever it was. I'm saying I watched it on Tuesday night. Wednesday morning at work, I got a guy come up to me, and his son, youngest son, is getting into wrestling. But he's not getting into wrestling nowadays. He's getting into the old stuff, you know. He's raising him up right.
Yeah.
So he said, man, we watched some show last night, some Royal Rumble from like England. Some Royal out. I said, dude, what? He said, yeah, something British Bulldog. I said, when Andre comes back at the end, he's like, yeah. And I was like, dude, and like, you watched the whole show? I was like, yeah, I watched the whole. He's like, yeah, some battle royal for some teapot and something. I was like, dude, I watched it last night. He's like, no, you didn't, Travis. I was like, yes, I did. I watched it. He's like, no, you're just kidding me. I'm like, I'm not kidding with you. I watched this match last night for the podcast. He's like, there's no way. I said, I'm telling you, dude. You and I both watched the same match. He watched it randomly, and I was watching it with purpose. He watched with this match with his son randomly, like that Tuesday night. Unbelievable. So I thought that was pretty cool piece of trivia there. So very funny.
Of the 10,000 shows that are WWE shows that are on Peacock, he picked this one, random Coliseum. Y'all are probably the only two people
watching it simultaneously.
Yes.
Well, I have
so
no
bizarre.
Trivia here. I want you. We talk about the guys and their bodies and what they look like. How old do you think Typhoon is here?
Typhoon, 1991.
Just think about the way he looks. Yeah. Think about his body. Obviously, I'm leading the question.
You are. I say he looks 40. I'm going to guess he's 28.
He's 34.
Okay.
34.
Okay.
But I just look at me and I don't feel like I look great at all. Like at 36, but I feel really great when I watch Typhoon. I think of myself 2 years ago and what I looked like. And this guy had a skullet and was 800 pounds. Like it's amazing to me how old these guys looked at such a young age back then.
The road was tough, man.
It's just
the
crazy.
road was tough back then.
He was 34. So, oh, man.
Yeah.
And is he, that's Cody's Uncle Fred,
That's
isn't
the Shockmaster.
Yeah. Cody's Uncle Fred. So.
Yep. Getting his big moment there in the Battle Royal. Pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's about time to return our tapes to the video store. We got one last match to watch.
AEW
before
Rampage,
we get a late fee. Yeah. Rampage 1992 here from the WWF. And we actually talked about this one a couple months ago because the first match on the tape is Undertaker versus Razor Ramon. We talked about on our Scott Hall tribute episode. So since we already covered that, we're going to move to the main event of this tape, which is Undertaker teaming up with his former foe, with his former rival, the Ultimate Warrior, to take on the wild card team of the Berserker and Papa Shango.
Oh, yeah.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, Papa Shango. But first, before we get to that, we got to open up with Sean Mooney murdering a guy in cold blood in the middle of a western town outside of a saloon. So,
just straight up kills him.
Killed a guy right there. Yeah, it's one of those. This is like a Wild West scene that play through, and there's so much of this. But yeah, do yourself a favor. So if you watch this match, also I want you to watch the second match on the card the show. Yes. It's Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart, and it'll absolutely blow you away. It could have been on Double or Nothing the other night. It could have been on a Takeover. It is insane. Those guys were magic together. And this is just a house show match on Coliseum Video. And it is stupid good. You recommended it to me after the Razor match, and I watched it. and then I went and watched it again when I watched this. So it's so freaking good.
Yeah, I remember we were doing the Razor match, and I just let the tape keep playing and watch that. And look, how many we've all seen Bret and Shawn a million times. Like, we've seen them face off so many times. But this one, I remember, like, I was almost jumping out of my seat, like popping at the near falls. I had no idea what was going to happen. It was so exciting. Very, very cool match. There's another giant battle royal, 40-man battle royal on this tape as well. Man, just some great random stuff. If you've never gone through these Coliseum videos on the network, you can find some true hidden gems in there. Will this be one of them? Let's see. Undertaker, Ultimate Warrior, Berserker, Papa Shango. Two guys that he feuded with, sort of, again, on TV. Never quite had pay-per-view matches, but there's some TV rivalries with these guys here. And this one's going to take place in June of 1992 with Gorilla Monsoon joining Lord Alfred for commentary here.
From Cornwall, Ontario, Canada.
Woohoo!
So, but I tell you what, man, look at that. Look at those characters you got right there, and just look at
yes, sir.
If you're flipping through or you see this on a tape, this is it's like superheroes. It's a dead man, a guy with face paint who's a maniac, and you got this voodoo guy, and you got this crazy Viking-looking man of the caves, berserker guy. Like, it's very character-driven stuff that would catch the eye of a child, and that's what their market was at the time, and it's perfect.
Imagine being there in person.
Yeah.
Imagine being a kid seeing just this spectacle. My word of the day, my word of the month. Like, just over
like
the
watching
top
the Avengers
characters.
But
in person.
Yeah.
It's not on a big screen. You're there seeing
no blue
all this
screen, no
face
green
paint
screen,
and
no CGI.
tassels and swords and smoke. That smoking skull that Papa Shango's coming out with all of his accessories here. Oh, dude, I can't believe. I still will never understand why Papa Shango didn't get over bigger. Because as a kid, I thought, oh my gosh, that guy's just as scary as the Undertaker. I love that gimmick. It jumped off the screen to me. But
Taker, I wrote my notes like just the presence that Shango had. The fans were mesmerized by him on the way out. They really like almost as much, not quite on Taker level, but up there.
Oh yeah,
they really were. Taker gets a great pop on his entrance.
Yeah, so I was gonna say we've seen heel Taker for these previous 5 matches, and it's fun to see the changeover as we see the hats, we see the foam tombstones in the crowd, we see posters, and we see how quickly he's become a beloved character rather than a feared character.
Yeah, and then Gorilla even talks about something with regards to these characters. Berserker and Papa Shango are standing in the ring, and Taker enters, and Gorilla Monsoon even says, how much confidence do you have to have in yourself to enter the ring by yourself with those two guys standing there? So I know it's part of the story, but it's just pretty cool to see that, and then picking up on that little nuance there. I like that.
It absolutely is. And as cool as that was, Lord Alfred pissed me off right here because he calls the urn a vase. Not an urn, a vase, a vase. Like, what are you doing? You've been calling these matches for 2 years. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Weird, but
I rest my case.
Yeah. Berserker and Papa Shango have Mr. Fuji as their manager, which I don't know if we pointed that out, but like you said, they're in the ring, and Ultimate Warrior, he's going to torpedo to the ring like he's shot out of a cannon as usual. The kids and the adults in the crowd are all popping and loving it. And the Berserker rolls to the outside. He grabs an Ultimate Warrior poster or a sign from a kid, rips it up, and then starts eating it. Like a madman.
He's berserk, man. He's berserk. So, it's funny. But, Warrior comes in, and when he gets in the ring, him and Taker stare down at each other.
They're not friends.
They're not best friends.
No.
Yeah. I like that little nuance there. So they kind of get in each other's... Well, Warrior's the aggressor here. He gets in, again, the babyface gets in Taker's face, and it's pretty cool. But I do like that little nuance there. Both of them kind of team up, and they big boot their opponents, and their opponents go over the top rope with a clothesline. So they're teaming up together.
They are able to use their forces, their powers together, like the Avengers. Like you said, they don't always like each other, but they team up against evil here. They're going to pose together after they knock the heels out of the ring. But as Warrior is posing, Undertaker is staring him down. Really interesting dynamic. And Papa Shango and Berserker are not eager to get back in the ring. Berserker does eventually hop back in, and him and Taker are going to start things off, trading shots against each other, and Taker's going to choke Berserker in the corner.
Yeah, and there's a drop kick from Berserker, and then again, goes over the top. There's a perfect 10 landing. Goes to pull Taker up. Taker pulls him out from under the rope and then rolls him in. Goes in the ring. Warrior tags in. Does all his power moves on Berserker. Just kind of hitting the greatest hits here. Papa Shango hits Warrior in the back with his staff, I think.
It's a voodoo stick.
Yeah, and to me, the ref was staring right at him and he just couldn't care less.
Nope.
So, but it's fine. Then Shango tags in and starts working over the Warrior. And then, for some reason, commentary are discussing whether the Undertaker is smiling or not. So, yeah.
Just in their own world sometimes on these tapes.
Lord Albert Hayes calls him the emotionless mortician.
Ooh, that's another new nickname.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Warrior's going to be kind of the babyface in peril here. He's going to get worked over, and they're going to cut off the tag before he can get to Undertaker, our tag team specialist, the Undertaker here. They keep trading in and working over Taker, but Warrior's going to block a big boot and hit a double headbutt on Papa Shango and the Berserker. Shango hits a running clothesline to put Warrior down again. They double team in the corner again, and this crowd has been kind of silent so far, but they're finally getting into it. Taker's not over on the apron starting the claps or the chants at this point in time, so it's kind of a weird dynamic for him to be the guy on the outside, but the crowd does start getting into it, trying to wake Warrior up, and Warrior's gonna back body drop the Berserker out of the ring to create some space to go make that hot tag to the Undertaker.
Oh yeah, Taker gets the hot tag, comes in with a choke slam, or as I think Albert Hayes calls him, a power lift to Berserker. I don't think it had a name of chokeslam yet, maybe, so he calls him the power lift. Yeah. And then hits a diving clothesline to Papa Shango. Again, they're both the heels are in the ring. Kind of double goozles both of them, shoves them into Warrior, who hits a double clothesline on both of them. Then shoulder blocks Papa Shango, and then Warrior, not the legal man, does his little running body splash on Berserker, pins him without even tagging in. So
no worries.
No, it's all good.
Not the legal man, but he does get the pinfall here, so the baby faces win. Warrior and Undertaker get the big win, and they're going to reach out and shake hands. Yeah, do a little Mega Powers handshake here cautiously as this match is over. So a cool moment as we come full circle from them being rivals, now coming together as partners here at the end to send the fans home and our listeners home happy.
Yep, exactly. That does it for Coliseum Classics Part 1, man. It's some fun stuff I'd recommend you go check out. Definitely check out the Royal Albert Hall show.
That's the hidden gem. Yeah, for sure.
And At Home with Paul Bearer.
Yes. If nothing else, please go watch both of that entrance from the Royal Albert Hall and Paul Bearer at Home. Take 10 minutes to watch those two things. Just incredible stuff. But I appreciate you indulging me, Travis, and letting us do this episode and go back to the wheelhouse of nostalgia here and talk about some home video, Coliseum video classics. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope the listeners enjoyed it as well. And if so, then there are a bunch more of these on Peacock that we can dig into sometime for a future Talking Taker episode.
Yes, I tell you what, they are more fun to talk about than watch sometimes.
Sometimes.
Some of them are kind of when you got all these jokes and stuff, but hope you guys enjoy. If you don't want to watch them, let's listen to what we have to say, and we'll help. Again, do watch Royal Albert Hall. If you were there at the Royal Albert Hall, we want to hear you. Or if you were there at that one show and had the Casio guitar and we're playing it, we want to know that was you.
If your name is J.B. Franklin II or Marty Applebaum, we want to hear from you, and you have an open invite to be on the show. So that does it here for this month's edition of Talking Taker. I want to say thank you to everybody for listening and tuning in. Next month, we've been kind of doing some fan votes or just kind of doing some random stuff. I will go ahead and announce for next month for our July 2022 episode. We're going to go back 20 years to July 2002. So, I think we're guilty, Travis, sometimes of hanging out in the 90s too much, but there's a great anniversary match that I want to celebrate for next month's edition of Talking Taker, and that is Vengeance 2002, a match that made both of our top 10 Undertaker matches of all time.
I think so.
It was definitely in our top 20s, I think. I think it was both of our top 10s, but I think sort of a hidden gem, a forgotten classic, Triple triple threat match between The Undertaker, Kurt Angle, and The Rock. That is one of the best three-way matches of all time. And I think that one deserves a watch-along review here for its 20th anniversary.
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely does. So, yeah, we'll be checking that one out next month. So, go back and don't revisit it. Watch it with us.
Please.
So.
Yeah. So that'll be cool. Definitely a different pace here than these Coliseum video matches. I think a slightly higher work rate in that one.
A little bit.
But go check out that vintage episode as we reviewed it back originally. Go check out some of our other videos. We are videos on YouTube or podcast. We've reviewed some other Coliseum videos that were dedicated exclusively to The Undertaker back in our archives, so go check those out. Go check out our monthly episodes that we've been doing. Be sure you're subscribed wherever you listen to podcasts, following us on social media. I actually did have a couple comments I will pull up here to talk about, but as I'm doing that, Travis, why don't you give a little plug ski for your latest project and your new release that's come out since our last podcast came out.
Yeah, it's called Sirens. It's one of my music projects, and it's got not just me, it's got some female vocalists on it too. Three of my dear friends go to church with me, brought them in the studio with me and redid 2 songs and added a new song, and it's got another new song for me. So just go check it out. I appreciate you guys' support. If you listen to it, if it's not your cup of tea, it's fine. If it's not your cup of samovar, I appreciate it anyway. But yeah, go check it out on any streaming service that you have. It's Travis White, Sirens.
Absolutely. Definitely go check that out. Listen to all of Travis's music. Be sure you're following him out there. Shout out to some people who commented on Twitter about these Coliseum video matches. Randy Turco at Pokey's Little Dog said, quote, "You locked me in a casket and tried to murder me by suffocation, but we do have common enemies now, so let's form a tag team, only in wrestling." Talking about Undertaker and Ultimate Warrior's rivalry. Great way to sum it up. And Ben Dombeck, who is at Lord Darth Yoda on Twitter, great Twitter handle, he said, "Was that Jim Johnston playing on the organ at the Royal Albert Hall?" Could have been. I don't think it was, but you never know. Didn't quite look like him, but I like that call. That's a good thought, at least. Who else? Paulie Richards at Paulie Richards. We've heard from him before, but he said, "Now I shared on Twitter this Coliseum video stamp of The Undertaker." So what happened back in the day is you'd rent a Coliseum video and sometimes you get a free gift, like a little sticker or a little hologram, basically the same thing. Well, this was a stamp that had The Undertaker on it. And he said, "I have many of these Coliseum stamps, Taker and others, and I was going to put them on my wedding invites to all my friends when I got married, but COVID shut down the wedding, and we only had a limited people attend, so he didn't get to send those out." But can you imagine that?
Dude, that's awesome. You get a stamp in the top corner. It's Undertaker from 1992. It's awesome.
And then lastly, Tommy on the spot, watch along Tommy. He actually texted this to me, so it's not on social media, but he said, one of these Coliseum videos, we talked about some of those vignettes and scenes in there. One of them has Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon and Mean Gene, I think, on a golf course, just like piddling around, just doing stupid comedy stuff on a golf course. He said he's actually played on that golf course in Stamford, Connecticut before, the Sterling Farms golf course. He recognized it, so he's actually played out there. The Forrest Gump of wrestling. Of course you have, Tommy. Of course you've been out there.
I'm not surprised by anything anymore with you.
Nope, not at all. But
amazing.
Some cool stuff there. Go subscribe, of course, to our friends of the podcast, The Bottom Line, Wrestling Cast, and Collecting Dead Man for more great content out there. And again, can't wait to see you guys next month for our July episode. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our social media for more content until we get there. And man, this was longer than I thought it'd be, Travis, but why don't you wrap us up?
10-4. All right, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll see you next month. Stay safe out there. Enjoy your summer. Have a good time. Be safe. And most importantly, above all, take her easy.